Welcome, investors and conservation-minded viewers. Today we will be discussing the Environment, Social Responsibility, and Governance Index and its sub-indices. Climate change, human capital, gender equality, and shared growth, committee engagement, and shareholder rights. And performance since March 13, 2023, the date of publication of the indexes, and key holdings. For those looking to invest in line with sustainable and responsible standards, take note. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and set up alerts to stay informed. The sub-indices of the ESGM ESG Index are constructed as follows. First, environmental, which is derived from ESGM's ESG assessment model. Social responsibility, and governance, and financial factors such as price-to-earnings ratio and price-to-cash ratio. Price-to-assets ratio, dividend yield, and sales growth rate to select the top 80 stocks based on the optimal combination of scores. Next, the index is calculated by weighting the floating market capitalization of the 80 selected stocks. We apply an upper limit of 20% for Samsung Electronics and 10% for other stocks and calculate the index to track performance. First, ESGM's Environmental Index. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of environmental and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are selected. Since the date of publication, it has outperformed the KOSPI by 12.6 percentage points. The blue graph shows ESGM's Environmental Index. The information ratio is 1.6, and the top 6 to 10 holdings include Celltrion, Samsung Biologics, Samsung Electronics, Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance, and Celltrion Healthcare. The following is ESGM's Social Responsibility Index. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of social responsibility and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are finally included. The index has outperformed the KOSPI by 14.6 percentage points over the past year, with an information ratio of 2.1. Samsung Biologics, Hyundai Mobis, Samsung Electromechanics, SK Energy, and Korean Air are included in the top 6 to 10 positions. The following is ESGM's Governance Index. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of governance and financial factors PCR, PBR, etc. are finally included. The index returned 23.9% over the one-year period from the date of publication, outperforming the KOSPI by 12.2 percentage points, and Sharpe ratio is 1.2. Celltrion, Samsung Biologics, Samsung Electromechanics, Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance, and Celltrion Healthcare are included in the top 6 to 10 stocks. The following is the Climate Change Index, which is a detailed index of ESGM's environment. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of climate change and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are finally included. The index has outperformed the KOSPI by 13.6 percentage points in the year since the announcement date, and has an information ratio of 1.4. The following is the ESGM Gender Equality Index, which is a categorized score for gender equality, including the number of female executives among the social responsibility evaluation items. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of gender equality and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are finally selected. It has outperformed the KOSPI by 14.8 percentage points in the year since the announcement date, showing the second best return, and has an information ratio of 2.1. The following is the ESGM Human Capital Excellence Index, which is a social responsibility evaluation item that categorizes scores in the human resource management sector, such as education and training expenses as a percentage of sales. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of human capital and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are finally included. The index has outperformed the KOSPI by 14.2 percentage points, and the KRX ESG Leaders 150 Index by 15.9 percentage points over the one-year period since the announcement date. Information ratio of 2.0 and Sharpe ratio of 1.3. The following is the ESGM Shared Growth Index, which is composed of the score of the shared growth category, which is the sum of the scores of the middle categories of social responsibility such as suppliers and anti-corruption, and the top 80 companies with the highest combined score of financial factors such as PCR and PBR. The index has outperformed the KOSPI by 14.4 percentage points with a return of 26.1% over the one-year period since the announcement date. The Sharpe ratio is 1.4 and the information ratio is 2.1. The following is the ESGM Committee Activity Index, which is an index of companies with a mid-range score for the composition and activity of the board of directors in the governance evaluation category. The top 80 stocks with the highest combined score of committee activity and financial factors per PCR, PBR, etc. are finally included. It has outperformed the KOSPI by 12.6 percentage points with a return of 24.6% over the one-year period since the announcement date. The index is highly relevant to the Korean Value Up program. The ESGM Shareholder Rights Enhancement Index is comprised of a composite score for shareholder rights, dividends, and disclosure among the governance factors, and the top 80 stocks with the highest combined scores on financial factors such as PCR and PBR. The index has the highest return of 27.7% over the one-year period since the index announcement date, with an information ratio of 2.2, the highest among the sub-indexes. The most relevant index to the Korean Value Up program. The above is an overview of ESGM's sub-indices, and you can see the details of the quoted indices by visiting esgm.kr, fnindex.com. We'll be back next time with more information on ESGM's ESG indices and the recent interest in the Korean Value Up program. Until next time, invest wisely and sustainably.